How was your 4th of July?
It was crazy over here by where I live. It was so loud. My dogs got really scared, but it was nice. It was quiet. But I sold something on I think it was Face Marketplace or something, and it was
Yeah.
so weird. The girl came over and we just started talking, and then it just came up that I was a realtor, and then she said, "Oh my goodness, I'm looking for a house. Do you speak Spanish?" I said, "Yes."
You're like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it was really exciting. So she was gonna what in fact I was gonna text you because what she's looking for, I told her she's looking for a house in the South area to be she her and her husband stayed with her parents so that they could save up for the down payment.
I
But
love it.
I have a lender that I used to work with, but she asked me to find out about the different programs that assist you with down payments.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure I know there's a lot. Do I just research them?
No, every lender can give that.
Oh,
There is
okay.
no lender that gives any kind of special treatment to anybody. If a lender ever tells you that they do, they're just trying to sell you. They don't do that. So you can just get her hooked up with the lender to get pre-approved. And then what they'll do is they'll run their credit and do all the things that they need to do to make sure that
Right.
they're qualified. And then if they qualify for down payment assistance, that's when the lender will give them those options. But they
Okay.
actually have to qualify for that.
Okay.
Okay,
So
cool.
that I was so that's what that I thought that was going to be difficult for me to kind of solicit that.
Yeah.
But today my husband has a lot of stuff. So today I sold one of his compressors and I did the same thing. It just comes up in conversation
Mm-hmm.
because they
Mm-hmm.
were talking about, I don't know, what like outside stuff and equipment and all of
Yeah.
that. And then he said, "Oh, it looks like you guys are doing work on your house." And then it just came up. And I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
let me give you my card." And he said, "Oh yeah, I know a couple people who are interested in selling their homes."
Perfect.
So it's
Perfect.
just, and I know that maybe I won't make a deal from them, but if it'll stay in their head. Hey, I
Yeah.
bought a compressor from because him and my husband they hit it off. Like, I
Yeah.
don't remember us, and me and the young lady hit it off. And so I think if she doesn't, I think when she's ready, she will.
Yeah.
So it's just
Absolutely.
getting, and I know that it'll be from somebody who refers me. So that was kind of exciting for me because I thought I was going to
Absolutely.
have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. I find that if you're friendly with people and you're open to conversation and you're an open personality, most of the time it's actually very easy to get business. It's when you're more of a closed off person, some people don't have that gregarious kind of conversation with everybody they know. So it can lead to people not connecting. But as long as you're friendly and open, people are very friendly and open as well.
Yeah, I even had somebody come today to my house, and I think I shared with you, I'm not very receptive to that, but I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to be receptive. So I listened to what
To be.
they had to say. And then I brought up, well, you know what? When you guys have your community meetings, maybe you guys could let them know that this is what I do. And I'm like, okay, this may work.
Yeah. Or I can participate in those meetings and I can
Yeah.
be a sponsor or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I love it.
they were religious and
Oh,
for
yeah.
a different than I am, which is fine. I don't
Yeah.
care, but when I told her what religion I was, she said, "Oh, well, that's okay. You could come anyways." But they
That's
were
sweet.
they're very nice.
That's super sweet.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome that we're talking about this because we're going to talk today about how do you lead generate and like where do I get business? That's the number one question I get from people is where am I going to get business or where do I get business from? Well, you get it from everywhere and you're starting to see that now. So let's go a little bit more in depth with where. Oh, where's my present? I thought I was presenting this thing. Oh, there we go.
My
Okay,
screen
so
isn't coming up. I'm gonna log out and log back in. I don't know what I did.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, let me see.
Is it working for you?
I can't, I could hear you, but I can't see my screen for some reason.
Oh, at the bottom of your computer, drag your mouse over your internet, the circle, the Google circle. The screen may have dropped down.
Oh, there, I see you, but
okay, now
I don't.
click on that.
Huh?
You click on that. If you see me, you should be able to see. Hi, Reza, how are you?
Okay, I see.
You got it?
I'll get
Hi,
it.
Amy.
Hi, how are
Hi,
you?
guys. Good, good. Thank
Good.
you.
Good. Okay, well,
Good to see you.
good. She's just working on her screen right now, making
Yeah.
sure that she can see us. So she's gonna log back in. But how are you? How was your fourth?
It was great. Great. Thank you, Brad. We had 15 people over.
Fun.
Yeah. People from Davis, Winters, and Grass Valley.
I love it.
Yeah, they got, we were all by the pool and thank you. And barbecued and all the good stuff. How about you?
We were really simple. We went floating down the river
Oh,
on our
perfect.
paddle boards, and I got a nice tan. This is tan for me because I'm very pale.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then we went to bed. We didn't do fireworks. We literally went to bed at like
Oh,
8:30 or something like that. So we just relaxed and we had a very active river trip. So
that's great. Yeah, it's I grew up with all the 8 years of bombing. So I when I was 4,
yeah,
I'm like, firework, thank you. And I want
yeah, you're like, I'm good. I don't need all that.
yeah. But
Oh
our
gosh.
son Jai, he said, "Oh, let's go." Oh no, yes and no, but he playing with all kids all day, and he was
Yeah.
swimming, food back and forth in games, and he was pretty tired. Yeah, we didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. And my doggies, I was like holding my doggies and like, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh my God, that's right. I should have sent you a picture of our dog. We covered her with she was in the bathroom the whole time.
And you just covered her
My,
up with a sheet. You're like, everything's
I,
fine.
yeah. One of those compression thing where we have, it is
Mm,
small for her now, but I put a sheet over her and she felt, comfortable.
good.
And yeah, and she's 12. Maya is 12 now. Yeah, she needs a lot more love. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it's fun, but for the doggies is not,
It's not fun
fireworks.
for the
Yeah,
doggies. No, they
yeah,
hate it. Yeah.
yeah. It's one of those things. So I like.
Well, Edith's back, so
I'm
let's
back.
get started. I love it. Okay.
Great.
So we were talking with Edith before because she's like, oh, I sold some stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And when I was talking to the people, I got their numbers and talked about business and how easy this can be. And I said, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about lead generation and where does it come from? Where do you do? Like, how do you find business? And yeah, so let's just get into it. And I'll tell you about my experience. Obviously, I'll share all of my experiences throughout. I've been in sales longer than I've been in real estate. So I've had lots of lead generation experience. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to go off of the participant material today because I just liked the visuals that it put out there. And I thought that we could kind of interact together and talk more. So
Right.
The first step of lead generation is really figuring out what's my message and what's my method. Because if I know what I'm trying to convey to people, then I can figure out, okay, how am I going to convey that? If I don't have a message, then I don't have anything to convey. And the message can be as very simple as, hi, I just opened my real estate business. Like that's your message, right? Like I'm new and I'm looking for business. But that's your first step is what am I going to say? What am I trying to say? What am I looking for? I'm not just trying to tell people I'm in real estate. I'm looking to get contact information. I'm looking to get their follow-up stuff. I'm looking for, what do they want? So my message is not just, do you want to buy and sell real estate? My message is, hi, I'm a local real estate expert and I help a lot of people buy and sell homes. And I'm not always helping them with just that. I help with other resources as well. And I'd love to be able to help you in the future too, right? That's a message that I'm trying to get out to people. And then my method could be lots of different things. I mean, your method could be phone calls, it could be emails, it could be text messages, it could be door knocking, it could be open houses. See where I'm going? So you start with, what's the message I'm trying to convey to people? And then 2 is, how am I going to do it? So let's say that you pick door knocking and your message is, hi, I'm a real estate agent and I'm talking to people about real estate today. That's as simple as it needs to be. First, you need to really understand who's my market. Who am I attempting to market to? So I have this message. I'm a real estate agent. I want business. That's really your message. And then you have to think about, okay, where's my market? So let's go a little bit deeper with the message. Say that I have a message that says, what's the difference between renting and owning? And showing people the difference in price between renting a property and owning a property. And my message is essentially telling them buying a property is more valuable to you than renting. So if I want to match my market, where would I need to go in order to give that message to the right market?
Condos, apartments.
Yeah. So places where renters are, right? So
Right.
This is just important to know that, if you have because all these places will come out and they'll give you a flyer and they'll say, hey, here's a free flyer. It's the rent versus buy. And if you go door knocking in a neighborhood that's primarily homeowners, that's not going to resonate. Therefore, you're not going to get any success. And so the goal is that when we go out prospecting, we get something that's valuable to us afterwards, AKA contact information to follow up, AKA maybe a deal, an appointment. What happens to real estate agents is they don't think this deeply about what they're doing. And so they just go out there and wing it and they don't get the success. And 2 years later, they're out because they're just winging it a lot. So it's good to sit down and think, all right, I'm going to go after for sale by owners. My message is that I can get you more money selling it and I'll take all the problems away from you and I'll handle the problems for you and I'll make you more money. So of course, I need to go find for sale by owner leads. And then the number 2 is I give them my message and I make an offer. I make an offer to help them. I'm going to help take this listing off your hands and do it for you. So matching your market, what we just talked about was a target audience. You want to make sure that you're finding that target audience. And then you want to match market conditions too. So I just talked about a for sale by owner. Now, if I take all my eggs and I say, I'm going to work for sell by owners, I'm going to find all those leads and that's all I'm going to focus on. Is this the market for sell by owners? Do you know? Do you think that there would be a lot of for sale by owners on the market right now?
No.
We have a really low inventory, 1. And then 2, we have the internet. And most people know that for sale by owning is going to make them less money. There isn't a huge market there. Now there's a market there for sure. I will not discredit that because I'm working them, but it's very small. So that cannot be my only that can't be my only thing, right? I can't pigeonhole myself into, I'm only going to work this market when that market is like this big, because then I'm just not going to find a lot of success. And again, I'm out of the business. So I say, if you're going to put a message out there, I would think of a couple different markets that you could find a target audience in. So if you're going to be working for sell by owners, don't ditch your sphere of influence. Work for sell by owners. There's only going to be a few of those leads for you to work, and there's only a certain amount of things you can do during the day to work those leads. So as soon as you're done, go focus on something else, right? Even with renting to buy, The average time for someone to decide to get out of their lease and buy a property is probably going to be 6 to 12 months. So I wouldn't necessarily just market to renters. I would market to renters, and I would probably have something for sellers, and then I would have something else for another avenue. Just keep your portfolio diversified. Okay, so we know now that we need to have a message. It needs to go to a target audience, and we need to make sure that the market is actually going to, that's a market that you can operate in and make the kind of money you want. Okay, so then your second option, your second thing of your message is you've got your market, you've got your target audience. All right, I'm working for sell by owners. I'm going in, I got my target audience. There's plenty of people for sell by owners, and now I need to make my offer. So what your message to them is, I'm going to help you sell your house for more money. And that offer can be broken down into two different, you can make that offer into two different ways. Either way, it's going to give you a response. So a direct offer is, I will sell your home for more money. An indirect offer is, we sell homes for more money. Does that make sense? Or look at the homes that we've sold in your neighborhood. So a direct offer is, I'm doing this for you. An indirect offer is, look what we do, right? I prefer the direct offers. However, you get more honey, you know what I mean? You get more flies with honey. So it's like, again, employ both. Like, have some indirect offers along with your direct offer. And then once you have your message down and you're like, okay, great. Let me step back a few seconds, or step back a few feet. This doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be as simple as, I'm going to go door knocking today. My message is, I got an open house down the street. I don't have any materials. I'm just going to knock on the door and hope for the best. And my direct offer is, do you know anybody who's looking to buy and sell real estate? That's basically going through that process of putting together your message and your method. And it's very simple. So I don't want this to look very complicated, like, oh God, there's so much planning in this. It's not. But it is a good formula to follow when you're looking at marketing pieces. Like, door knocking is one thing, but when you start getting into like buying mailers for an entire neighborhood of 500 homes, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to your market and your target audience. And is my message going to resonate with all of those people, or am I just wasting my money? Method. So your method, like we said, it's kind of like, how are you going to do it, right? How are you getting your message out there? So you can prospect and you can market. So I've talked about door knocking and I've talked about mailers. Prospecting, remember from our previous classes, is active. You're knocking, you're talking, you're belly to belly, calling maybe. Your marketing is paperwork, like it's the flyers, it's the cards you're mailing, it's what you're dropping off, it's things of that nature. Now, when you're working on your method, prospecting and marketing, like I said, sometimes I've just had to walk into a neighborhood and I'm going to prospect today and I don't have any marketing, and that's fine. But your prospecting is enhanced by your marketing. So, I mean, imagine if I'm walking through a neighborhood and I'm talking to first-time home buyers, renters, and I'm saying, oh my gosh, it's way, way better for you to buy a house. Well, why? Well, let me tell you, right? And then I have to go into this diatribe. If I had a marketing piece with me that showed them the numbers, I could say, well, here's a marketing piece. Here's my piece for you that will let you know. You can see it's actually better for your financial. I would love to talk to you more about this. It's just going to be a more powerful process if you have both. Just marketing cuts out a very large portion of your immediate success because you're waiting on them to get the message. Instead of putting the message to them just by mailing to them, or just by leaving the brochure, or just by leaving the folder or the flyer, you're waiting for them to get the message. But with prospecting, you're like, here's the message. When you're going out to do these things, like any kind of lead generation that I have to participate in, I have to time block. So you'll see here, it all points to time blocking. And in order to properly time block for any of this, I need to prepare, I need to take the action, and then I need to maintain my results. And what that looks like is I have an open house scheduled for this Saturday from 12 to 2. I know that I want to door knock 50 doors in that neighborhood before the open house. I look at my calendar. When can I do this? Right? So that's the preparation work that goes into it. I know that I need a flyer. So I need 50 flyers at least for that door knocking extravaganza. Okay. Where am I going to get my flyers from? Do I print it? What's the easiest route? And then I've got what I need, my marketing, and I've got my time and my place. And then it is all about taking action. You guys, I have sat in coaching with producing agents that are like, I've done it, just me too. It's like, I prepare. And then the time comes and I'm like, I'm going to do something else. And I don't know why we do this, but we do it all the time. You're not alone. It just happens. We're humans. So taking action is the hardest part. All this preparation work is actually the easy part and it's the fun stuff. And then when you actually have to go knock on the door and hand them the thing, that's when the fear is like, ah. So taking action is the hardest part. But the more you take action, the easier it gets. You'll get this muscle memory. And that's why I'm sitting here in front of you saying, I could go knock on a door right now and start a conversation and potentially get their contact information for my database. And I might even walk away with an appointment. I can say that because I've done it so often, it doesn't feel difficult. So you do have to take that initial leap. And then maintenance. What does maintenance mean? Well, maintaining is when you get that contact information or you have that, you've recovered what you need, keep it in your system, put it into command and start maintaining that relationship with them. Otherwise, all of this work that we just went through to get to this point is worth nothing. There's nothing more disappointing than doing open houses for 6 months or even a few weeks and getting all these leads and then never following up with them and they buy from somebody else. But it happens all the time. So the taking action part is really the most important part and it's the hardest. And honestly, if you can take action, if you can execute your actions efficiently, it takes your time, but you can be efficient with it. It doesn't have to take you 2 hours or 5 hours to door knock 50 doors. It doesn't have to take that long. There's just some efficiencies that you can build in place to help you do that. Any questions so far about this?
Is there anything written that, shows you the process of door knocking, for example, and what exactly to talk to them? And do you, give them some market information? Obviously, how many houses are on market now or sold versus, or a median average price?
Yeah, you can do all of that. That would be essentially your message that you're giving to them. My favorite thing to do is to not leave anything with them. My goal would be to get their information. So if I was door knocking, I would say, I'm a local real estate expert. I help a lot of people buy and sell homes. I actually have an open house down the street and I'm just walking around, letting the neighbors know about that open house, but also just talking to them about their own property. Have you ever thought about selling your home? Oh, we thought about it, but not yet. Okay, great. Well, I would love to update you on your market on a regular basis, just so that you can have the best information for when it does become time for you to sell your home. I can send that to you over your email. What's your email address? And that way I'm not handing them a market analysis and saying, oh, well, the market says this, this, and that. Now, the reason I say that is because if I'm door knocking for an open house, the odds of me door knocking that neighborhood again are like this small. If it's my farm, I'll leave them stuff all the time because my farm, I'm going to go back there and back there and back there and back there. So I'm not too concerned about never seeing them again. So that's a little bit of that's some of my strategy around that, is that if I'm door knocking an open house in a neighborhood, I don't want to hand anything to them. I need them to give me information, but I already have all my information for my farm. So you don't have to give me any information. I got your information. I tell them too, I'm like, I got your information. It's fine. I'll send it to you, whatever you need.
So, and get just the email will be do you get also phone number?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. Yes. I mean, 100%. You want to get their phone number, you want to get their email, you've got their address, you're standing right in front of it, you can just grab it from the house.
Any advice on, have your phone and plug it into your phone and let them write it down on a whatever?
No, I say, hey, what's your number? 916, and then I put my phone, I put it in my
intro. Okay, thanks.
So my phone is connected to my command. So there's a command app that you could just start entering it into the command app. But I just put it in my phone and then it goes into my command. Okay. So leads are everywhere. And your number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. And I really like that quote. And this is what I tell a lot of people. Whenever someone comes to me for coaching and they say, I have this buyer and they're just taking their time and they're not, moving forward on things, or I have this seller and I'm trying to get them to sell their home. That's immediate. I'm just like, you need more clients. If you're working to try to get this person to close a deal with you, you are doing, that's the wrong focus altogether. Your best bet would be to step away from that client and let them figure it out, and for you to go find more leads. And I think a lot of people forget that leads are everywhere. Like everywhere you go, there are people that would probably buy and sell real estate at some point in time in their life. And your job is to get in front of them as much as possible. So when I finally figured this out, I was like, man, I became a much friendlier person. I started talking to everybody. Whereas before I didn't want to talk to anybody. Let's just be honest. I just want to go about my day, just give me my coffee. I specifically don't go to Dutch Bros because they ask how I'm doing, too invasive, right? I'm like, you care too much about what I'm doing today. I like Starbucks. They tip their nose up at me. They're like, don't talk to me. I love that. I'm like, thank you. Just give me my coffee. Let me go. So it's not that this comes naturally. It's just I learned that I've got to be a friendlier person if I want to expand my business. So I'm making connections with people in line at the grocery store. I'm talking to the people I sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. It's all about just approaching people, right? And how do you find ways to approach people? The small talk is one of the best ways for you to approach a stranger about literally anything, especially if you're in any proximity whatsoever, right? So the grocery store, you're in line. How many people start talking to you in line at the grocery store? It's amazing that's just a thing that we do because that's what we do, right? Edith said, I'm selling stuff to somebody on Facebook Marketplace, and we just start talking. Well, that's because Edith has a very open spirit and she's willing to talk to people. If she was all closed off, they probably might not do that, right? But she's taking the opportunity to be like, well, hey, how are you? How you doing? What's your name? That's very important. Having that open mentality of being very curious about people and being like, well, what's your name? What do you do? How are you? How's your weekend? Did you have any fun on 4th of July? What's going on?
On Monday, I was at the grocery store here shopping for 4th of July, and an old client was on the other line, and I stepped out of my line. I had to think about it for a second. Stepped out of my line and went to say hi to her, just real quick. And she said, oh my God, are you now doing real estate full time? I said, yes. And she was like, my friend Tony can use your help. I was like, it's just, and I said, okay, I'll stop by. I'll come and see you at your house. So but I haven't done it.
I'd be there. I'd be booking it today.
Yeah. That's, I think that's a problem with me here.
Yes.
I have so many people.
Yes.
So
remember when I said the taking action part is the hardest part?
Yes.
So this is not, and I'm going to touch on this because I want you guys to know, this is a human condition. This is not something that you can get rid of. So I had someone call me Sunday or Monday night, Sunday night. And they said, my friend wants to sell a house, call them. Turns out I know the friend, we're mutual friends. And so we talked and I said, I will get you the information on the house. within the next couple days. And I always say that because I always plan to do it within 24 hours. I knew I had to do it the whole time. I didn't do it until this morning. And so this taking action thing, just so you know, it's really a discipline thing. It's like, I have to tell myself, get your butt up out of the couch and do this. And you have to do it. So I almost make it like I have to do this thing. Anyways, I just don't want you to feel like you're like somehow different than everybody and that there's this magical thing that comes along where people just like know how to follow up. We don't.
But I wanted to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Meaning, I want to know the summary of what's happening with the market, interest rate. That's the first thing they ask, and it's and just I guess going back to MLS and being able to get information from there.
I don't know interest rates.
Right.
That's not my job.
Right.
I ask a lot of questions. I don't know. I think you're okay to go on the appointment and just ask a lot of questions versus giving a lot of information. Because you don't know the interest rates. Interest rates change based off of credit rating, as well as down payment, as well as loan amount. So if you say interest rates are 7% and they get an 8, they're going to be like, that guy didn't know what he's talking about. So I just don't even go there. I just let them know that's really dependent upon your credit situation. And then if they're buying, then really you want to find out. It sounds like her friend is buying, right?
Yes, correct.
Then you don't need to be prepared for this meeting. She's not even the buyer. I would just go over there and schmooze her.
Yeah, I have other people too. So it's, I think it's something that have some, And it I know I'm waiting for a magic time, I guess, but I should.
Yes. And I will say that's kind of what I'm talking about. There will be no magic time that you will just have all the answers. Definitely not in your first 5 years. So just understand that, like you're never going to have I don't even have all the answers. And, you just got to take the action. Just go on the appointment, see what happens. I'm the type of person that if you ask me a question, I don't know the answer. I'll be like, that's a really good question. I will give you that answer. And then I'll move on to something else. But yeah, I would say take the action, take the leap, set up the appointment, see what you can do. It will also, if you set it up for like in the next 24 hours, then we can always get together and I can be like, okay, do this, and this, right? Learn this, and this.
So I guess, that's setting it up are you talking about command?
No, I mean, setting an appointment with your client.
Right. But just putting the information, I have another situation. It was yesterday, people were at our house, and actually I was in touch with them on Monday. They want to buy a house, and they have a 40 acre here in Davis, and they want to remodel their house, moving to a new house. And I don't know from now on, like how to follow up or how to, what to talk to them about. And but
really it's just, hey, I would love to talk to you more about what you're looking to do. If they're going to remodel the house they currently live in, then, what assistance do you need there? Do you need contractors or anything? Or you guys got that?
Right.
And then it sounds like you're going to buy another house. What's your timeline for this? So there's in the Ignite toolkit is a buyer's lead sheet. And that should probably give you everything you need.
Lead sheet. Sure.
There's questions on there that you can pull and you can ask them what's going on. That'll give you an idea. And then if they say, we're probably like 6 months out before we get the remodel done. And yes, actually we do need a contractor, right? And then we can kind of go from there. So it's really the approach to them is, man, you said that you had some interest in real estate. How can I help? And then they'll tell you how you can help. And you just are looking for ways to help them. And then I would also say, are they looking to sell their property?
Thanks. Oh yeah, no, they
want to keep it.
The 40 acres, they want to move back, but they have it's all owned, so they own the whole thing. They have no mortgage on it.
Oh, they already own it, and they want to do what?
So they want to buy another house to live in, let's say for 6 months or a year, while they're remodeling the house, and then move back eventually to the farm. It's just around the perimeter of Davis. And
Oh,
then
and it sounds like they're ready to buy now. I would set up an appointment and find
they
out.
they are. I mean, the truth of it, yeah, I sent them some. She looked up 2 houses before she talked to me in Middletown, where her husband is a firefighter up there, is an
Okay.
engineer. And I called the agents. I got on MLS right away, and those were both the same day, or one was a day before and one the same day were on contract.
Okay.
So it was, so yeah, I just have to, look for newer houses in Middletown. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, are they pre-approved?
So that's the thing. Then I gave them two. They're not. Then they were debating, should we apply for, to get a loan or use the home equity. And I referred them to two loan agents. So they're going to talk to the agent, loan officer this Thursday.
Well, it sounds like you're doing just fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are leads everywhere, just like you guys experienced. Rez is having a party at his house. Leads come out of that, right?
Absolutely.
And the approach, we talk about the approach. The approach is actually pretty easy. The approach is not the hardest part, especially when you're in social situations. If people know you have a real estate license, they're going to engage with you. Edith, did you have something to say?
I had talking about the leads. One of the things when I start talking to people, which I actually one of the things that they're sharing with me is that they've been informed or done research that the interest rate that they've heard that it will be better to buy in January and February. So they're very interested in either selling or their home or buying a home, but they want to wait until January.
Okay. And what happens if the interest rates don't go down in January? What are they going to do?
Well, they've just said they've heard, and I said, well, right now is a really good time to sell your home because it's the summertime. The kids are on vacation, and it's a really good opportunity. Let's set something up so that we can discuss it. And then, if you have any questions or, I kind of talk, but that's what I don't really know what to say too much when they say that.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's a very real condition. I mean, the goal is to never say anything that will convince them that they're going to do something they weren't already going to do. There's nothing you could say to them that's going to change their mind.
Right.
And interest rates are set to go down in January. I mean, I talked to my lender and she told me, don't buy a house this year, buy a house in January. So you should agree with them and you should say, that's really smart. We have heard that interest rates are supposedly going to take a dive in January, and that's going to change the market a little bit. But here's what happens with that. When interest rates go down, what do you think is going to happen to the market?
The houses are going to go up.
And what else? Do you think a lot of people are going to go out and buy a house?
Yes, there's going to be more. It's going to be more competitive.
It's going to be more competitive. What you could do now is you could just buy a house when it's not so competitive and then refinance.
And that's what I did share. You can also refinance at a later time. Yeah.
So now that's a cool way for them to be like, but here's what I would really say. I would say, do you guys need to buy a house right now? Like, is there a motivating factor that's making you want to buy a house right now? And if they say no, then I would say, then wait until it is.
Okay.
There's nothing and I'll tell them this. There's nothing I can say to you that will convince you to buy a house when you don't need to. And furthermore, even if interest rates are lowered, do you need to buy a house? And sometimes they'll say, well, no, I don't really need to buy a house at all. And then you know that they're just talking to talk. And that's the biggest factor here. See this? Your number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. So my number one job is to find their motivation. So you've approached them, you're now connecting, and they're actually asking you, which I find in social situations, that I know people, I get more people asking me to do business with them than I am asking for them. So what happened right there is that they were telling you, well, I think we're going to buy then. And then I would want to find out, is interest rates the only thing preventing you from buying right now? Because if it is, we can get you into a situation where we can get your lower interest rate lowered permanently right now. So if the interest rate is the only factor holding you back, that's actually not a problem at all. We can get that bought down for you. So is that the case? Do you want to buy a house right now?
Okay.
And if they said yes, then I would be like, all right, then let's talk with a lender and find out what it would take for us to get you into a house with the lower interest rate. Because you can buy down an interest rate. So that's one way of
that helped me a lot, because that's what one of the concerns was. And they really want to move to Sacramento, but about they're very, very set on waiting until that interest rates goes down, because they want to sell theirs and then buy a house here in Sacramento.
I get it. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And I've been following up with her. So I'm like, okay, so, I sent you this information. I hope you received it. Can you shoot me an email if you have any questions? And then that was her. She told me about the interest rate.
Yeah.
And that they were going to wait. But she said she was still going to talk to her. I guess they're still talking about it. But
I would just get back to them and say, hey, I have, and I'll send you my lender here. Or do you have a lender you work with?
I have a lender, but it's always good to have more.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I would say to them. Hey, I have a couple lenders I would like you to talk to, because you can buy down your interest rate. You don't have to maintain that higher interest rate. And then when interest rates go down, you can refinance and buy that rate down even more. So interest rates, when people tell me interest rates are a factor in them buying or not, it's not a factor.
Okay.
So from now on, if anybody says, I'm waiting for interest rates to go down, the number one question is, what happens if interest rates don't go down? Would you still want to buy a house? Or would you still, and the thing is not, do you want to, it's do you need to? Do you still need to buy a house? Well, yeah, we really do need to move. We need to move to Sacramento. Okay, great. So let's find out options for you where you buy down your interest rate. And then the interest rate's not even a factor. But it's the motivation that you want to find. So luckily those people are very motivated and they have, something going on. But sometimes people are just talking to talk, and I get all wrapped up in trying to figure out how to talk to this person, and they can't even buy a house or something, or they don't even want to.
You share that info with me as well, Amy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so can you also tell them, like, is it possible to say that, when interest rate goes down, usually you get all this overbidding war and you might end up paying more for the house?
Yeah, there's more demand. There's going to be more demand. There's going to be a higher, as soon as interest rates go down, there's going to be a higher demand. So my lender told me to do the same thing. So here's my plan. I'm actually going to buy a house. Well, we'll see. My goal is to buy a house in the wintertime. I'll buy it in the wintertime right before interest rates drop. And then I will refinance it once interest rates drop. So that's kind of a plan. But yeah, there's going to be so much demand. It's you think you get less, or you think with interest rates, people just think they're being so smart because we had these 2% interest. They're never going back there. And they also need to know that we will never see a 3% interest rate again in our lifetime. That was artificially created by the US government, and it does not exist outside of that artificial span of time. something terrible would have to happen. So like a pandemic, and we don't want that to happen again, because we don't want that. So when people say things like, well, I'm waiting for a crash, I kind of like, sometimes I get real and I'm like, oh, well, what happened to you during the last crash? Well, I lost my job. Oh, okay.
Then
So you're going to wait for that to happen again before you buy a house? Wouldn't it be better to buy the house and then the crash happens and you're jobless, but you're in a house and they can't kick you out? I told people that, and they're like, oh. And I was like, yeah, they can't kick you out of a house you own. They could foreclose. That takes a couple years. I said, but you live in an apartment, you lose your job, where are you going to go? And they're like, I get kicked out. I'm like, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe don't wait for the crash, Just sometimes when you bring it back to reality about what are they really talking about, sometimes people get caught in this one thing and they forget the bigger picture, which is like, I'm not just buying a house because the payment is the same as renting. It's never been. I don't think it's ever been cheaper to to buy a house than rent. It's always been more expensive. So that's not the reason. The payment is not the reason that we're buying. The reason we're buying is because we get equity, we get tax write-offs, and we own it. Okay, so let's talk about prospecting versus marketing, just so we can have some key ideas here about what we're looking at. Prospecting is active, it's time intensive, but you get immediate results. Prospecting consists of maybe phone to phone or face to face, listings without agency or for sale by owners or expired listing. So you can prospect for sale by owners, expired listings. Circle prospecting. When people talk about circle prospecting, they're talking about calling a certain geographic area, or farming a certain geographic, door knocking a certain geographic area. Apartment complexes, like what you're talking about, maybe recently sold listings or recently listed properties. And you're like, recently sold? Why would I market recently sold? Well, when a property sells in a neighborhood, the chances of another property selling within that neighborhood shoot up. It's like a ridiculous amount. So there's usually about, when one property lists, there's usually about 6 more listings around that property. You just have to go find them. So if you're paying attention to your neighborhood and you see a listing panel pop up, you should go door knock the neighborhood or call the neighborhood, because there's another person that's thinking about listing their home, and that for sale sign just sparked that they should. And if you're the one that knocks on the door instead of the listing agent, you might just get a chance, right? Just listed, same thing. Somebody just listed a house in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter if it's your listing. You could go walk around and talk about that listing and help people decide to sell. Sorry. Do what?
We just received a piece of mail. The house down the street went for sale, and another agent, not the seller's agent, sent a letter or whatever notes to all the houses that this house just got sold. Contact me if you want to sell your house.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. It's like, great, so smart. Yeah. They don't know. They don't care who sold it. Community outreach. So charity work, volunteer work. I mean, if you're part of any school things, or maximize on that. I'm pretty friendly at the gym. Me and my boyfriend work out together. I don't wear headphones because I'm always like chatty Cathy trying to talk to him and bother him. But what that's done for me is that I talk to other people at the gym too, because they like hear me like spouting off. And so it's like opened up relationships I would have never had. I know an agent that does paddleboarding. Oh, I'm in the motorcycle community. So now that my boyfriend rides motorcycles, I've like infiltrated his shop, and now his business partner is going to list their home with me in Stockton. So
awesome.
It's everywhere, right? And then I'm joining all these women's riding motorcycle groups because I'm going to open up myself to all of those people too. So whatever key, any community outreach that you can do. Key relationships. Do you know any people that own businesses? Do you know any people that build? Do you know any people that own banks, third-party companies, investors, right? These relationships can help you get deals as well. believe it or not, becoming a coach, it's so funny. People told me when you become a coach, your business is going to drop off. And did I lose business? Well, yes, because I didn't lose business, but I just wasn't able to help any buyers really. So I've kind of just moved on to just listings, and I don't have a lot of buyers. And I was going somewhere with that. Dang it, I lost my train of thought. Oh, they told me you're gonna, lose business when you go into coaching. But being in coaching, I never thought that coaching real estate agents would get me more real estate deals, but it did. In fact, I've actually been referred business by agents in my coaching program just because they don't want to do the business. So, just that negative thinking of like, oh, this thing is going to create this. I just don't ever go with it because I'm like, man, there's always an opportunity somewhere. When I took over or when I, bought into other companies, I bought into the Fair Oaks office, and now people know that I'm a part owner of that office, and they call me more because, you know what I mean? When you're like in that realm, people trust you more. So whatever key relationships you can get into, like with any of these banks, Golden One Credit Union has a realtor program where they will refer you business. So if you guys have any contacts at Golden One, look at them up and ask them about their referral program. So those are some ways that you can get business. There's corporate relocation. That's an amazing thing to get into because they will just hand you business, and they're never cheap. They're always like 600 grand and up because it's a corporation relocating a high level professional, and you have to pay them a referral fee, but you're going to make so much money off of them that you'll be happy to pay them the referral fee. And those companies, so I would look up, professional relocation companies and stuff like that, or corporate relocations. Teaching and speaking opportunities. So yeah, becoming a coach offered me up teaching opportunities. So I've gone to the Bay Area. I've gone to the Central California area. And through that opportunities, people call me and give me referrals. Meals. I'm a big meal person. I like to ask people out for coffees and drinks and meals, and that's my thing. Let's go get tacos. So meals are great. Door-to-door canvassing, networking events. I tend to choose networking events where other realtors won't be. So I don't like to go to like networking events for realtors. I think that's funny. It's cute, but I'm like, you guys aren't going to give me any business. It's weird. I'm like, I know all of you. This is like social hour. But that's fun. It's fun, but it is very social versus going to like a BNI. A BNI meeting is like contractors, lawyers, accountants, like all these people that don't do real estate. So who do you think you're going to get referrals from more, right? Is that BNI group. Booths and kiosks. So I sponsor booths at events, and I just go to the event and I have like stuff and I talk to people. Home shows. Home shows are huge. My boyfriend actually had a painting business, and he used to do home shows, and that's where he got the bulk of his business from. Realtors can do it. Weddings, wedding shows, bridal shows. People get married, people buy houses. So those are some good ways. I had a client that I coached for a long time, and she used to do the blues festival, and she loved it. She would have a little gift basket there, like a barbecue gift basket. And then she would have people enter the drawing, and that's how she collected contact information. She loved it. And she gets to go to the blues festival.
That's so smart.
I know, right? That's what I think. Me and my significant other, he owns a business too. And so we're like, why don't we just throw events and just party?
My friend has a sanctuary for animals in Colfax. She's so sweet. She still works, but she takes in animals that, like farm animals that may be euthanized, to give them a really good life. But she asks for donations from businesses to do raffles to keep, to help with her. So I told her, yes, I'll donate a gift. And so I was thinking, okay, I said, will you have little tickets with the people's names? And she said yes. So that way I'll have that information and I'll donate the gift basket, and
Yeah.
she'll let me, and I'll have the contacts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So we do that a lot. I build gift baskets. Well, I'm not that good at it. I make Teresa do it. But she builds gift baskets, and then we just put them in places. And it's like, it costs $100, but you get your name out there. And if you can put anything in that basket that has your marketing on it, then you get to write off the whole amount. So it's like, pretty cool. Now let's talk about marketing. What does marketing look like? So we've prospected, we're like really in front of people, and then we've got this marketing piece. So offline advertising would be considered radio, TV, newspapers. Radio is actually huge. And I had a lender that I remember him starting when I first started, and he's like come up in the world, and he's on the radio now. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Matt on the radio. That's weird. And I asked him, I'm like, I can't believe you paid for that. Like, is that really helping your business? He said, it's huge for my business. So if you can afford to get on the radio, get on the radio. Personal vehicles. I don't know if you've seen, but like there's some people with their vehicle wrapped. So you can see that this is like, it's putting your message out there. It's not asking for anything. It's just putting your message out there. Bus stops, benches, magazines, billboards, yellow pages, grocery carts, moving vans, you name it.
How do you get the magnets for your car?
Just printing companies, any printing. You could go online and just type in magnet for my car, and then you give them the design you want, or they'll design it for you, and then they'll ship you a magnet.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some printers. Paradise Signs. It's in Rockland. His name's Larry. I love Larry. So if you look up Paradise Signs, that's a really great place to get signed stuff like that. Online advertising, pay-per-click advertising. So Facebook ads, Google ads, your SEO on your website, social media, and then, anything else that you have. I will say that, again, this is just putting yourself out there. It's not even asking for anything back. So any of this stuff that you do, it's got to be really consistent, and it has to be on for a while. So I'm pretty sure the radio thing didn't pay off for him until people had been hearing it for a few months. So you have to know that when you do this marketing piece, what I always think about is, okay, how much is it going to cost me initially? And then how much is it going to cost me to maintain this for the next 12 months? Because if I don't maintain this for the next 12 months, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do it at all. So just keep that in mind. Broadcast content like radio segments, TV shows, live social media, and blogs. You'd be surprised how many times you'll receive random emails from TV shows and radio segments asking for people to come on. I actually saw an agent that was in a segment that I couldn't believe that they were even selected to do it, because it's like, the reason being is that they were very new and they didn't have a ton of experience. But then I learned they don't care about that. And that was my own limiting belief. And I was like, good for them. That's awesome that they just applied for it. So I would say, even if you get an email or anything that says, we're doing a TV show, we're looking for realtors, go after it, because that agent went out and did it. And it probably helped build a lot of clout for them. Whereas in my mind, I was like, I can't apply for that. I don't even have, and that's just the limiting belief I had. So do it. If you get any opportunities like that, do it. Direct mail, postcard campaigns, special event cards, just sold, just listed, quarterly market updates. These are all great ways for you to get in front of people. Mailing promotional items or swag or shirts or hats or all the stuff. It's all there. Public relations, news releases, advice columns, and then sponsorships like sports sponsorships or anything else. So then how do we put these together so that we can like mirror the two? Farming. Farming is a great way for you to take prospecting and marketing and put it together. I door knock this neighborhood, I bring a flyer. I door knock for sale by owners, I bring a packet, right? It's just putting it together. You could even choose a geographic farm or a demographic farm. So The geographic farm would be all of Foothill Farms. The demographic would be non-owner occupieds or for sale by owners. Events, open houses, contests, seminars, and client appreciation events. In the Ignite resources, the business resources folder I give you, I created a first-time homebuyer seminar. I created the presentation for you. It's not branded. It's not specific to anybody. You can literally just take it and use it. And there's a training video in there that shows you how I hold first-time homebuyer seminars. We have an agent in our office that does investor seminars where she just talks about investing and she gets listings from that. And then there's people that do for sale by owner invest seminars, and they teach people how to sell their own house. And then they make it, they tell them everything they have to do, and they wind up getting the listing because the people don't want to do it themselves.
Amy, you have sent that to us? Is that what you said?
No, it's in the business resources folder that all of you have.
I don't have
Amy,
that.
I couldn't find.
Oh, you have it. You have it. It's in an email that it was sent to you called Welcome to Main Street Coaching.
Okay.
Everybody gets it.
The very beginning, I see.
Very beginning, yeah.
Amy, on the class that I missed last week, is that on? I couldn't find it. Is it on your videos or your YouTubes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It was, I don't know what it was called, but yeah.
I wrote it down. It's downstairs. So I just look in the folder.
No, you can go on YouTube.
Oh, so these classes.
Thursday,
That's
it
what
had
I
to do
want
with
to.
home buy or marketing, I think.
I looked, they were not on YouTube, Amy.
I couldn't find it either.
My last Thursday.
I'll show them to you right now. Well, they're not going to be from last week. They're just going to be pre-recorded.
Ah.
Yeah, they're not going to be that specific class. It's just going to be another. I teach this class over and over and over and over. So if you go to KWCA Premier, that's our office. And if you go into playlists and then into Ignite, let's see. So last week it was open houses and social media.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you go on here, we've got
YouTube.
Oh, I could look for it. So I just didn't know where to look.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
I'm like, well, they have to put something in here for open houses. It looks like it's missing, which is crazy. The other place that you can find it is in that 30, 60, 90. So when you guys signed on with us, you got an email that was said, welcome to Main Street, MAYNE. And in that, there was a form called a 30, 60, 90. This was a spreadsheet that had like everything you need for your business. On that spreadsheet, there's the Ignite tab. There's all the classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that might be easier. I don't know. You'll see. Okay, so let's keep going. So let's talk about, we're talking about capturing as many leads as possible. So not only is it all about capturing leads from like out prospecting, but then once you get someone and you start working with them, you want to get leads from them. So, excuse me. Client referrals are like a gold mine. If somebody's worked with me before and they refer someone to me, I know that it's going to be a slam dunk, because they've already set them up with this whole image of me being amazing, right? So client referrals, I start with, we always want to provide value to our clients. So even if somebody doesn't necessarily buy with me right away, if they're interested in buying or selling real estate, I want to meet with them. And the reason being is that I want to sit down and provide value. If I can provide them with some kind of value, even if it's just answering their questions and it comes to the end and they're like, nope, I can't buy, or no, I can't sell, I still provided them with everything they needed and the value is there. That allows me to feel 100% comfortable saying, by the way, do you know anybody else that's looking for services like mine? And I always like to ask them questions like, so, let's say that they couldn't buy with me. I would say, I know that you're not ready right now, and that's totally okay. I'm excited for when you are ready. I'm wondering, do you happen to know anybody else from maybe work or church or home or school or anything like that that is interested in buying and selling real estate or could use my services? And then I reward for referrals. So, oh man. Say that somebody says, yes, Amy, I do. My cousin's sister's brother wants to buy a house, and I'm going to send you their contact information. As soon as they give that to me, I reward them. I've done rewards as little as a thank you card, right? Just something to say thank you so much. I always obviously thank them person to person and say, I really appreciate you trusting me with this. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve your family. I think that statements like that are very important. Thanking them for the opportunity to serve them and their friends and their family is an important piece there, just to put that out there. So send me the referral. I have sent $5 Starbucks gift cards. I've done it all, right? I've taken people out to dinner. Like somebody referred me $1 million client and I was like, you, sir, you get a dinner. You get a dinner. I'm going to take you out because that's awesome, right? And then of course a handwritten thank you note's always great. So the conversations that I have, and I love that they put it right here for you, but I tell people from the very beginning, my goal is that you have such a great experience with me that by the end of the transaction, you want to tell everybody and their mama about my services and that you want to refer business to me. And I tell them that because one, what it sounds like is that I'm making a promise to them, but in turn, I'm making a promise that they have to fulfill. So that's when the next question comes in. Who do you know that would like an experience like you've had? Right. And even in the bad times. So like I have had transactions where everything's going wrong and it's terrible. And at the end of it, I'm still like I know that this isn't going the exact way that you want, but I'm working hard and I have your back. And I want you guys to know that my goal by the end of this transaction is that you're happy with the way that it ends and that you still want to refer people to me. And I've had clients that are not happy at all with the way that things happen. And when I take them their gift, because I'm like, I always give a gift. When I take them their gift, they've said, I will always refer business to you, Amy, because of the way that you showed up when it was the worst. So I would say, there's a little part of that is like, you got to be there for them and you got to create that kind of experience. So, I bought my client a handle of vodka and some gummies for her wife to calm them down, right? Like I went above and beyond with the substance abuse just so that they could be happy and stay in this transaction. So I did have to go above and beyond because it was so terrible, but I still use this conversation. Look, you guys, I know this sucks. I know you're not happy. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I hold up my end of the bargain and that you want to refer me business. And when it was all done, they were like, yes, we'll still refer. And they have, which is crazy.
It's true because on one of the houses that we bought, everything that you could possibly think would go wrong did, all the way up until the signing. When we were signing, and I shared this with Bruce, I think in one of his classes, that they had a lien attached to the house from SMUD that had to be paid. And that's why the house had fallen out of escrow the last time. So everything went wrong but I still used my realtor because he went above and beyond. I mean, there was every day it was something. I wanted to pull my hair out. Yeah. And then I'm kind of demanding, I think, also as a client. So I think that's going to help me like, oh my gosh, I have to be prepared to get. And I also use my brother who actually reads every little detail on every contract. So I'm like, okay, if I get somebody like me or my brother, I have to be prepared to how, to deal with it. But you could, because I think that's nice what you did.
It was, I was like, what do you do? I said, what do you guys do chill out. And she was like, drink vodka. And I was like, okay, what does your wife do? And she's like, eat weed gummies. And I said, okay. And I went and got both. And I said, here, with my tail between my legs, I'm like, here, please don't murder me or the buyers. Thanks. Okay. So gotta love California, right? Okay. So the goal is always be providing that, but you gotta bring it up. So I think that's one thing that, I didn't bring it up before. Early in my career, I didn't even know how to ask for referrals. Like, how do I do this? But I love this promise frame is my goal is to make sure that you want to refer me business. Who do you know that's looking to have an experience like you've had? If I have provided stellar experience, it would be the greatest gift for you to refer your friends and family and coworkers so I can give them the same experience. And of course, it never felt natural in the beginning, but now it just rolls off my tongue. Like I'll be sitting, we'll get an offer accepted. And as soon as I say, hey, how are you guys feeling about this? And they're like, oh my God, we're so excited. I'm like, that's awesome. Do you know anybody else that wants to be excited about their real estate experience? And they're like, oh my gosh, Amy, if we do, we'll call you, we swear, but it just kind of rolls off like that. All right. Agent to agent referrals. So I kind of talked about this a little bit. I'm just going to touch on it so that we can move forward. But agent to agent referrals are a thing. It's really good to connect with agents from out of town. If you have anybody in your sphere that is from another area, I would highly suggest to connect with an agent in that area and then build your relationship with that person in that area, the client. So that way, when it is time for them to buy and sell, you can say, hey, let me refer you to my friend who does business in that area. And then you can get a referral fee. Referral fees range anywhere from 25 to 30%. I sent a referral. My lender is like one of my close friends, and she sends me people to refer out all the time. So I just make a quick phone call and I get I've gotten a $3,000 check for making a phone call before. So I'm all about that. And it's easy too, because we're all salespeople. So it's like, it takes 2 seconds to make that relationship. It's like, hey, how you doing? I would love to send you business. It's even better if you know they're a great agent, right? But I put everybody in my referral network. And when I do have a referral, I will vet that person quite a bit before I actually hand my client over to them. But I accept everybody in because I want them to send business to me because I know I'm going to do great.
Doesn't have to be KW, right?
Mm-mm. And in some places, there won't be a KW. So business to business referrals. This is a really good activity to do on your own time. We won't do it here, but list out all the people that you know that own businesses or that work in an industry or business where you could refer business to them. So, I mean, your dentist, your doctor, your mechanic, your barber, all of those people own businesses, and you can refer business to them and help them grow their book of business just like they can help you. So I usually start that conversation. My hairstylist has grown her business because of me. I get my hair done by her, and everybody that tells me they like my hair, I tell them this is my girl. And she has literally gotten business because of me. And therefore, I have no problem asking her to refer business to me. The same with, my boyfriend's business. I send so many people that way. My handyman used to be my handyman. And I have sent him so many realtors that he's no longer mine. Now he works for the office and does stuff. So I even tell my friends, if you own a business, my number one goal is to help you get more business. So you should tell me everything about it and how I can, and that's how I prospect sometimes. You could call everybody in your database and say, hey, do you or anybody you love own a business? Yes. Okay. What kind of business is that? I want to add them to my preferred vendor list because if I can send them business, I would love to do that and help them grow. And I'm thinking that they might want to share in that. And people are like, yes, oh my God, yes, I would love to. If you ask a business owner, what's the best way for me to send you a referral? I mean, could you imagine getting that question? I would be like, let me show you. Like this, send me everything. Some more lead sources. Oh, perfect. So door knocking ideas. I'm going to put this little, this participant guide is actually in your toolkit, but I'm going to put this in the chat. There's a link in the chat for you guys, so you can check that out. This participant guide has your door knocking ideas here. So door knocking ideas would be, did you know homes in your neighborhood are selling in less than 30 days? The home over on Mayberry just sold for $350. That means your home values are going up, right? Now that's obviously you look for a home in the neighborhood. Vendor referrals. My clients seem to like ABC companies. So if you're referring to them, right? Like you're door knocking. Hey, I'm out here door knocking. My clients were working with this company with HVAC. So this is one thing that I have done before. I have a HVAC company that is on my preferred vendor list. And I called them and I said, if I go door knocking and I want to refer your company business to my farm, can I get like a 10% off coupon or something like that? And they sent me the coupon and I put it on a flyer and I went door knocking and I said, hey guys, I've been working with this company for a while. I think they're really reputable. Summertime's coming. You should probably get your AC checked before the time comes. They're offering 10% off for all of my clients, right? And then you can do that. You can offer general info on the area, like new construction that's coming out, future construction, road changes, changing in building codes or permits. Most recently, they had a law passed that says that homeowners can now build an ADU unit or a second unit on their property. And it's much easier for them to do it than it was before. So that's something that you could go around and talk to people about. These are just ways for you to have a reason to knock on the door and present them with opportunity or benefit or vendor or value, right? Oh, here's this. Set up a discount with a local vendor in the neighborhood for tree trimming, right? And then go. Set up a neighborhood food drive. So I really want to do this. You go to the grocery store and you buy grocery bags from the grocery store. They used to donate them. They don't anymore. You buy the grocery bags. Maybe you buy 100 or 50, and then you staple your card and maybe some information to the packet and say, we're collecting canned food. If you could please fill this up, we'll be back to pick it up on this date. And then you've got your advertising all over it. And then you go back and pick it up and donate it to wherever you want to go.
Please resend that link. It doesn't. It
doesn't work. Oh, here
it doesn't work, and it says can't be found.
Here.
Thank you. Let's see.
Yeah, no problem. Let's go into. I think we are in capture. Yep, here you go. There you go. Sorry about that.
Thank you. That is
welcome. Okay.
let's look at that.
Here we go. Okay. Okay, cool. We're all done with this section. So I'm going to give you guys, actually, no, I wanted to end early for you. So let's look at keeping every lead. All right, so let me do this. Okay. And okay, so let's talk about, so we've talked about how do we go out and get leads? There's so many different ways. It's like, there's leads everywhere. And then how do we keep them? So lead follow-up. So earlier, I don't know if Ruth was on this call earlier, but we were talking a lot about the action, right? And how action is the hardest part. And I actually sent out a video to everybody on Monday, and it was a Mel Robbins video. By the way, I don't just send those things out. I actually watch them too. I watch them, and the things I give you, I use in my own life. So, and Mel Robbins was talking about motivation and how we're always looking, oh, I just want to feel motivated. Like, when am I going to feel motivated? And it doesn't exist. It's just not a thing. Motivation, what you're looking for is you're looking for motivation to do the thing, but most people aren't motivated by the action. They're motivated by the results that they get from the action, right? So like, I am not motivated to go to the gym ever. But when I, when I flex my muscles and I see that I'm strong, or I look at my body and I'm like, oh, I can see the difference, or I can paddleboard all across the lake, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay fit. I'm going to keep going, right? That's what I think. But that's because I'm enjoying the result. But getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting dressed and going to the gym is not my cup of tea. It's not what I want to do. And I'm never motivated to do it. I do it anyways because I literally just force myself to do it. And now I've been doing it for so long that it's kind of an action I take. It's like just like brushing my teeth. Like if I don't go to the gym for a couple of days, I start to feel really weird, really, really weird. I probably turn into a weirdo too. So there's all this stuff that comes along with it. But yeah, motivation doesn't exist. It's a myth that we've made up in our head. We don't feel motivated until we've actually gotten the results that we want. Like the paycheck comes in the mail and we're like, I'm going to go sell more real estate, right? But as soon as it's spent, we're like, oh, wait. So a lead is somebody who has shown interest in the services that you offer, and you may have a one-way conversation. So then you're thinking, okay, so they said they want to have services, and what is lead follow-up? Well, you have to think of the leads that you enter into your database as your possible business. Lead follow-up helps turn the leads from possible business into probable business. And then at the end, you're going to have a profitable business. But the lead follow-up is where all the money is made. I talked to a lead on Monday night. They said they were thinking about selling a house with me. I said, okay, great. I'll get you the information. I got her the information this morning. She reached out to me and I followed up with her. I said, hey, just wanted to let you know, I emailed you over the information. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to talk further. She texted me afterwards and she said, okay, I'm going to present this to the other people. And there's just a situation with my mom and all this stuff. I said, okay, great. And she's like, by the way, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. What's my next step?
Follow up.
Follow up. How long should I wait?
72 hours.
I don't even feel like that's too long. I'm usually on top of it. So like she told me she was going to look at things. Let's see. What's her text message say? Let's see. I sent it this morning. She said, got it. I think I've talked my mom into it. It's going to take some time. She's very much on the fence, but I think I can get you in to at least look at the place. Don't send anything to the house. Blah, blah, blah. I said, awesome. I absolutely will communicate with you and you just let me know how it goes. And she ended it with a heart. So like, okay, cool. I got a heart, but if I don't call her back in a week, what happened? You know what I mean? Like what? I don't like that. So I'm probably going to reach out to her, tomorrow or the next day and just say, thank you. Just want to say thank you again for business. Do you have any questions? Anything you need from me? Right. And the goal is just to stay in contact. Now, if she gave me a time frame, so in my last scenario, she hadn't given me any time frame. So for me to wait with no time frame, if I wait too long, that's just not, I don't want to do that. So she did give me a time frame though. I just skipped over it. So she told me that I won't be able to look at this house until late August. Okay. So now I have a time frame. I really don't need to follow up with her tomorrow. We talked today. She said, you can't look at it until late August. I got some stuff to do. Follow up with me only. Okay, cool. So I'm probably going to wait until I got to take a trip. I got a 2-week trip and then I'm going to come back. Now she told me late August. Do I wait until late August?
No.
Yeah, I cut that in half. So I'm going to reach out to her at the end of July and I'm going to say, hey girl, checking on you. I just got back from a trip. I want to make sure everything's on the up and up. Do you need anything from me? The best thing about sellers is that the easiest follow-up is when a new home sells in their neighborhood. So one thing that I could do is I could go back through all the homes that I pulled for her comps. And as soon as one goes pending or as soon as one sells, I can reach out and let her know. Say that I just talked with a buyer and they don't give me any time frame. I would follow up with them maybe every other day until they're like, hey, leave me alone for this amount of time. But I don't even like to guess. A lot of times I just ask, like, when's the best time for me to follow up with you? Are you thinking you want to do this soon? Do you want to do it in 6 months? Being able to be comfortable asking those questions, because that's what allows them to tell you what they want. I even ask people, like, do you like phone calls or text messages? Oh, I only want a text message. Okay, sweet. We're only going to text message. Now, if we have plans for you to work with me and I text you more than 3 or 4 times and you don't answer me, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you till you answer the phone. And then once you answer the phone and tell me, then we'll go from there. But I'm pretty aggressive with my follow-up because I have been lackadaisical before and I've lost business. I have forgotten. I got a call on a Sunday to list a property for sale. The listing was going to be like 600 grand. I don't know if you guys know, that's a $13,000 paycheck. I told them, I'm so sorry. I'm at Six Flags with my family. Can I call you when I get home? Or can I call you when I get back? I never called them. I forgot. 2 days later, they listed their house with another agent. When I called them and I said, oh my God, I am so sorry. I forgot to get back to you right away. They said, sorry, we're in a hurry. We went with another agent. So I don't know. Like, I didn't know a time frame for them, but 2 days, just 2 days, and they had listed with somebody else. So I would be pretty aggressive with my follow-up. I'm not going to call somebody 50 times a day, but I'll call them once a day. I'll text them once a day until they answer me. I want to be on the same page, and I don't ever want to lose business like I did before. That was the worst.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I said sorry, but that sucks that you forgot.
lesson learned. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, lessons learned. I learned the biggest lesson from my failures, honestly. Now when somebody says, can we talk about listing my house? I'm like, yeah, let's set an appointment right now. What do you do? When are you ready? And I set the appointment because I know that if I say, let me call you later, there's a chance that I'll forget to call. So now, and I put a lot of things in my calendar too. So I learned a lot from that loss, and I put stuff in I sold him the home too. That's the worst part. So I sold him the home and then I lost the listing. Terrible. Okay. So
you are human, Amy.
Yes, so human. Well, I was just telling them, like, the whole motivation thing. Like, I need money right now. Like, I'm remodeling a house. I need deals. I need money. I get a phone call on Saturday or Sunday night that says, hey, I want to list my home for sale. I said, okay, great. Let me get you the information and I'll get it to you in the next couple of days. I always set myself up for success, but girl, I didn't get it to him until this morning. Like, I'm a coach. I train people on motivation. Like, I do all these things, and yet I still have a human body and a human brain and heart, and I still don't want to work all the time, right? So it's like, yeah, this is all human nature. And I like that too, because there is no rest. Like, there's never a time where it just like, oh, it's just like that. Like, it just comes to me and I don't have to work or I don't have to do anything. It's that never comes. That never comes. And you always have to push yourself to do the things you don't want to do. And this morning at 7 a.m, I was like, I got to get on the computer and do this thing because I didn't do it. I didn't when I was supposed to.
What happened? Come up here.
Okay. So, post lead follow-up. So when the lead opens the door for a two-way conversation, you have the opportunity to cement the relationship. So it's called one to submit to cement. And that's your first conversation, you know. That's a high value touch that solidifies the relationship you have just established, and it opens the door for future interactions. So the one to cement touch really needs to be about your services, help set up a conversation for later. It serves as a reminder of the interaction, and it also helps you tell them to refer you business, how to refer business to you. So the one to submit. So let me show you this. Okay, so you have all of your leads in a system, and we had talked about this before. You have 19 touches for you to connect with people, but there's going to be one thing that's going to happen that's going to kind of help you guys work together. Now, this one thing is going to change. It's never going to be the same thing. There's never going to be like, oh, I do this one thing every time, and this is what gets them. It just doesn't work like that. So you kind of have to have something, and it's got to be tailored to them too. So buyers, if I think somebody is interested in buying with me and we sit down and have a buyer consultation, right? This is the two-way conversation to cement the relationship. If we have a buyer consultation, they leave with a buyer's packet. It's a printed thing with all kinds of information for them, and they take that with them. That's a high value touch that they get to take home. It tells them everything about my services. It sets me up for later when we meet again. It's a reminder of the interaction that we had. It does talk about reviews in there, right? So that's an option. We have just a casual conversation, and I send them a thank you card with my card in it, right? Now, it might not seem like a high value touch, but how often are they getting thank you cards mailed to them? They're not. I can count the thank you cards I got on like my hand. So these are just examples of some high value touch that you can provide to them after somebody has opened that door, right? It might not be, like I said, it's going to be different every time. So sellers, when I meet with sellers, I leave them a seller packet. I leave that with them. I send them a thank you card after because I have their address. Thank you so much for meeting with me. Other options that are like way grand scale, high-end listing appointments. I had someone I was coaching that they were not a luxury agent. They were not a listing agent. They were not in the El Dorado Hills area, except they went on a $2.4 million listing appointment in El Dorado Hills. And they were up against the #1 luxury agent in El Dorado Hills. He like lives there. He sells all the luxury homes there. It's like, you are not going to get this listing, but the sellers really liked him, and they didn't tell him that they were going with the other guy. So I said, if you want to get this listing, you need to invest $100 into a wine and cheese gift basket, and you need to, or a champagne basket, and you need to mail it to them. And you need to, in the basket, say, I'm so excited for the moment you tell me that we get to work together. Here's some champagne to celebrate. Or here's a bottle to celebrate. And they were like, oh, I don't know. And I said, send that gift basket and you'll have that listing. And he sent the gift basket, and within a week later, he had the listing. So these touches, I mean, like, you're up against the #1 luxury guy that does this as a specialty, and a $100 gift basket is all he needed to tip the scales in his end. It's like, this is totally worth it. So think about that when you meet with somebody and you have a really great conversation, like the people you've told me about. What's a little touch that you could do for them?
Good gesture.
Huh?
Good gesture, yeah.
Yeah, what's the gesture? Now, it doesn't have to be any money or gift basket. So value. You just talked with a buyer. They said they want to buy in Sacramento. You got their contact information, and you send them all the properties that are located in Sacramento. Or maybe, and you start sending them properties. And then You also send them a market report that shows them what's going on in the current market in this area, right? Those are high value touches that will say, I'm your realtor now, right? I'm the person that's helping you with this. I'm going to provide you all the information you need. You meet with you talk with somebody and they say, I'm really looking for a realtor. I want to sell my home. Run comparables, send them a CMA and say, hey, I just want to get this over to you. I ran all the recently sold properties in your zip code. We will need to get very specific with your property once I come and take a look at it, but at least here's some information for you to go off of. So those are great ways for you to provide value, and it doesn't have to be costly. So you can see that like the follow-up part is actually where the money is made. Getting their phone number, that really is easy if you know how to do it. And it sounds like you guys are doing a great job of that. So get their phone number, and then it's really the follow-up where you can show up. And we tell people the fortune is in the follow-up, because nobody does business with somebody they talk to one time. It's usually 8 to 12 conversations before they're going to agree to do business with you. So every time I have a conversation with somebody, I just check a little box. That's number 1. And then the next time I talk to them, number 2, number 3, number 4. Sometimes I would try to get that out of the way. Does that make sense? If I know that it's going to take 8 to 12 conversations, the faster I get through those, the faster I'm going to get into business with these people. So sometimes your follow-up is every day. Just depends. Yeah.
Quick question. If the, buyer's house, in this case, my case, it's outside MLS, our metro list. It's in Lake County. And do I need to know or sign up at all? I mean, I was able to look up the houses in Lake County using but do I need to do anything else? Or
I would call Metro List and I would ask and say, hey, I'm thinking about, are they buying or selling?
Buying.
And they want to buy in Lake County?
Yes, so the houses that we looked at on Monday, and they were all, kind of on contract.
I would call Metro List and I would say, hey, I have a client that wants to look at some properties in Lake County. I just need to be able to access their lockboxes. What do I need to do that?
Right. Okay. Thank you.
And then they'll let you know. You may have to join the association, which I believe we are already a part of, and you may need to pay some fees for that, but you might not. It just depends.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to let you out early. So your goal this week or these days, right? These days of the week, this weekend, all of it is to have 10 conversations. Let's get 10 new contacts added into our databases, 10 handwritten notes, and then our social media guide. I love this little social media guide. I don't have this in my material, but right here it's telling you heart 10 pictures or 10 posts, 5 comments, and post something every day. Now remember, engage with your clients, not other realtors. So engage with people you know that are going to possibly buy and sell real estate. If you, like Reza, you just hung out with all 15 of those people, I would go on today to social media or like over the next couple of days and just show them some love, right? Show them some love. Same Edith, if they bought something off of you on Facebook, I would friend request them and then like do that whole thing. Yeah, I really try to get people into the fold. I even if you click on an ad and you come into my database, I will friend request you because I'm trying to connect with you on all levels. And I've actually had somebody tell me that I stalked you on Facebook and now I know I like you. So will you come list my home? And I was like, okay. Luckily she wasn't crazy.
The very first time I joined KW, I looked you up, and obviously you get notified, and you send me emails and contacted me over and over, phone, email. I mean, right away. So you looked up on my website. Are you selling, buying, whatever it was? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I'm all over it.
I was like, yeah, that's great. And then you realize, obviously, at one point, I said, "Oh,
I'm like, oh, that's Reza. Never mind.
yeah,
Go away." No, I'm just kidding.
forget about him."
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for showing up for me and for yourselves. I hope you have a really good weekend. Oh, by the way, I will be gone for 2 weeks. I will be in Carlsbad, California for 2 weeks. I'm getting a certification for my coaching. And so I will be available by phone, email, and text. I just won't be in person. And so Melinda will be teaching Ignite next week. But today's Wednesday. I'll be here tomorrow, but I just want to let you guys know I leave Friday and I'll be back on the 23rd.
Awesome. Well, have fun. And it's okay.
But I'll be here tomorrow.
Great. And if we miss a week, we're camping on the week of 16th, and just watch the YouTube videos.
Watch the YouTube videos, send me 5 things you learned, and you'll get credit for that.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you have a great week. Or I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.